Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another episode of Dirtnation Offroad. So today what we have for you is a product review, and the product that we're reviewing today is a winch. This is the Zeak 13,000 pound synthetic line winch. Now this one is, it's more of a lesser known company, which is kind of why I wanted to review it. I remember years ago we reviewed some stuff off Amazon, just trying to let's test out some new things, right? Because all the popular companies or like the big brands in the industry, they have tons of reviews, right? We all know whether they're good or bad, but some of the smaller stuff, it's good to actually take it out, use it, see if it works. That way we can pass the savings on to you, because this will be a more budget friendly option. This winch comes in for a 13,000 pound winch, comes in under 500 bucks, which isn't bad at all. So there's a bunch of cool specs. I'm going to list them right here. You guys can pause it and read all the specs. Now what I'm looking forward to doing, because this is going to go on the rock crawler, is I want to test this out and really give it a good strenuous test. We're going to get this truck stuck. We're going to get stuck on rocks. We're going to turtle the hell out of it. We're going to do some cool things to actually test out this winch. Can it hold up to regular use or irregular abuse? So getting into the unboxing, you can see my box doesn't look too good. That is my fault. This thing's been sitting in my garage for about 2 months. I originally was going to put it on winchers, but this truck's been broken since Thanksgiving, and I decided, hey, you know what? The project that we're working on with her, it's going to sit for a while. So we're going to go ahead and put it on our 1998 Nissan Frontier Bruiseberry, which is our other rock crawler project. So this one does not have a winch. Interesting enough, this is a fully built truck, cage crawler, Dana 44 swap, all that stuff. But it doesn't have a winch, which is kind of weird. But we're going to go ahead and modify the bumper in order to fit a winch down there, and then we'll go from there. But doing a quick unboxing, let's open it up. We'll show you what's inside, and then go from there. What do we got? Oh, we got a box within a box. All right, part 2 of unboxing winch. Here we go. So we got some paperwork. So Zeak, what is this? Is this like a thank you? Thank you for buying our product. Wow, I actually was not expecting that. 1-year warranty, good to know. Registered online. Cool stuff. We got, is that a big decal? Is that a decal? Yeah, that is a decal. Look at that. Now, why do you have a mall crawler on there? Zeak, what's with the mall crawler, man? Put a rock crawler on the front. That will, give you a little bit more clout when it comes to making winches. Some feedback. Owner's manual nonsense. Now we got our remote. Now this remote is a 2-in-1 remote, so it actually, you can do it wired or you could do it wireless. So we'll show you how to do all the setup and everything, but you have in and out, and then you have mode. Look at that. So you press, okay, we'll figure that out. We got some hardware. We have, that is battery connection negative. And then this is our wired winch cable. There we go. We got, I forgot what this is called, but like your tow hook. Oh, is this a front thing? Or is this a battery thing? Oh, it's like a battery connection doodad. Okay, good to know. We'll figure out what that is later. Okay. And then there's the winch itself. So it's already got its battery connection on there. Is the winch line in there? Do I have to do the winch line? I do not. Thank goodness. Feels pretty solid so far. This thing is, that's metal. That is metal. You have rubber seals for the connector. Looks like you have an on and off switch, and that's pretty much it. Let's pull it out of the box real quick and take a look. All right, there it is. So I'll say this thing was pretty damn heavy. I'm actually concerned about how heavy it was because of the front springs on this truck, but we'll see how that looks later. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna repack all this crap, put it in the truck, and then we were driving Bruiseberry to a fabricator where they're gonna pretty much chop off the front bumper, where they're gonna redo the front bumper in order to fit this winch on there. We'll check in later when we start actually using this. King of the Hammers is coming up, so first test will be King of the Hammers, and then if Azusa's open or somewhere else, we'll get this stuck in some mud. We'll do some other stuff. We're gonna be definitely testing out this winch. So let me get this all cleaned up, and then we'll go from there. Get it. All right, we got the truck back from the fab guy. So let's show you what we did. We got our winch installed. So we ended up just chopping the bumper and then using a winch plate that they cut up, and then just welding it in there, doing all that fun stuff. So it's bolted in. I still have to do some wiring. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wire this up, and then I'll show you guys exactly what we did to wire it up. Shouldn't be too difficult, should be fairly straightforward, but I'm gonna jump to it and start wiring it because I am burning daylight. So showing you guys, there's actually a breaker switch where you connect it to power on both sides. So you have power and power, and then you can go ahead and engage or disengage the connection so that it's not always pulling power. All right, last we left off, we did the install on the winch. We were doing the wiring and doing all that stuff. Since then, we've been on like 4 or 5 different trips using the winch, some of them using it, some of them not using it, but we've got some good footage of the winch in use, tested in different situations, recovering myself as well as recovering other people. So you can see here it is right here. It's got some mud all over it and the freaking cord's all tied up and I don't have it even like set up correctly. So what I'm gonna do right now is I gotta get all this cleaned up because we have a trip coming up this weekend. So I'm gonna unspool the winch and do all that stuff, fix it up. While I'm doing that, you guys are gonna check out some of the winching footage that we got for the past couple weeks, and then we'll come back here. We are gonna talk about our experience with the Zeak winch and then go from there. Let's get started. Finally getting a chance to test out the Zeak. We're here over here in Arizona with this guy. And we're back. Now, before we finish up with this video, I want to show you the final product. I didn't really show you guys the wiring and how it's set up and everything, so we're going to show you all of that. Then we're going to jump into our final thoughts and go from there. So here's our winch. Nothing fancy here. I always have it tied up to a soft shackle. Soft shackles are great. I would always have these available even when you're winching and you have a hook. It's just nice to have one of those. So using the winch, this is how you loosen the spool. So from that point, you can pull it, and then now the winch line is free. In the back, all you had to connect is the ground wire. So ground wire goes in with the rest of the ground wires right there. The positive is already hooked up, and I have everything running through the grill all the way to over here and then connected straight to the battery. So I have, you can see the wires down there, so they're running to the side of the battery. The positive is running to this breaker switch. Now, what's really cool about the breaker switch, I didn't know this and I learned this during the video. The reason you would put something like this in there is because sometimes when winch lines and like the connection points get corrosion, they can cause a parasitic draw to where your battery will die overnight. So the purpose of having this in there is if you want to prevent your parasitic drain, you would just turn that, and then this would stop the winch from having power because it opens the circuit. So really cool of them to include that in there because you have this as well as you have an off switch down there for the on the winch itself. So we'll turn that back on. So you have positive going to the battery, and then the negatives running all the way to right here. Now, using the winch, there's 2 different ways. So you can see inside here, you have an on and off switch. So I usually just keep it on, and then you have a plug for the wired connection. So you connect your wire right there. Then you can plug that into your dual use controller. So the controller has 2 different ways you could use it. You could use it wired or wireless. So if you have your wired connection, pretty much you would just plug that sucker in. You can go out, you can go in, then go from there. If you want to use the wireless connection, you can just disconnect it, and then what you do is hold down the mode button for 3 seconds or 5 seconds, and then it'll pop up right there. and then you can use, same thing, use the winch. All right, let's wrap up this winch review. I'll say this thing has impressed me a lot more than what I would expect from a more budget style winch, especially because, you know, I'm getting this thing from Amazon. There wasn't a lot of reviews. I don't see a lot of videos out there. I don't even really see an Instagram page for this company, but they do make a quality product. I will say that this is a very good winch, and I will go as far as to say it might be a great winch depending on time. I want to see how this thing does in the long run. Obviously, this is a regular on the Dirt Nation channel, so we'll continue to use the winch and we'll give you guys feedback and do all that stuff as we use it. But I will say this is a very good winch so far. But I'll definitely say for a sub $500 product, this thing is impressive. There's been a few situations where I am really impressed with the things that this winch did. One of the clips you guys saw, I was winching a dead 4Runner, completely dead 4Runner with a broken rear axle out of the mud and up a hill. This thing did it just fine. And not only did it do it just fine, it didn't overheat. It didn't have any issues. I know the winch was wet and dirty from, you know, me previously mudding and using the winch the entire day. Also, I didn't give this thing a break at all. When I was winching that 4Runner, I was probably winching it for a good 2 or 3 minutes, and I didn't really give it a break. It's usually a general rule. You winch on for a minute, you let it rest for half a minute or a minute. I didn't even do that because I want to abuse this thing. I wanted to see, you know, let's get some solid work into this winch to see if it's doing a good job. The 2 times I did a recovery for myself on the K-rails in Azusa, I completely turtled myself on there, and this thing dragged me across that K-rail and over, no issues. Then in Arizona, same deal. I was going up a pretty gnarly V-notch, turtled myself pretty good, and this thing winched me out just fine. I will say I will definitely recommend this product to you guys out there, especially considering that winches are getting anywhere from $900 to $1,000, $1,500 for your, you know, everyday brand winch. This one is less than $500 for a 13,000 pound synthetic line winch. Like, hey, it's pretty cool. With the wireless controller, you know, you really can't beat that. Now, the only feedback that I'll have on this so far that I would consider a negative is the controller. There's been a couple times where the controller won't like engage, and I've noticed this because maybe it's getting dirty. You know, I don't know if this is IP868 certified as well, you know, just like the winches, but I noticed that, you know, when this got dirty, sometimes it didn't want to engage, but most of the time it was working just fine. And then I also noticed with the controller that with the indicator lights, they're actually reversed. So when it's on a wireless connection, the wired will be lit up, and then vice versa. When it's a wired connection, the wireless will be lit up. So I don't know if all the winches are coming out like that. Maybe I just got one that you know, was a lemon. I don't know. Either way, not a big deal to me. I will definitely be using this winch in the future, and I do recommend it for those of you out there. I think less than $500 is worth the risk for a winch, especially considering, you know, there's so much that goes into buying and building a project. If you can save a couple $100 here, a couple $100 there, then you're in the green and you can continue building, wheeling, doing all that fun stuff that we like to do. But that is going to wrap up our review of the Zeak 13,000 pound synthetic line winch. Like I said, I do recommend this product. I will shoot a link down below to Amazon where I got mine. You guys can check it out for yourselves. I know Zeak has a few different, you know, winches in their lineup. They have some 10,000 pound ones. They have steel lines. I think they even have smaller ones for quads and all that stuff. So you guys can check all of those out through their page. But that is it for this video. I want to thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Patreon. You also use it for shirts, hats, hoodies, and all those other goodies at our online store, Dirtnation BigCartel.com. In addition to merch and Patreon, we are running a promotion on Patreon. You guys can check that out. I'll have it up on the screen right here. We're giving away a flag for yearly memberships on Patreon in order to continue building our Patreon business so that we can, hey, keep the lights on, keep things going, keep doing cool stuff and making cool videos for you guys. But that's it for this video. Thank you guys. Let's get it.